To me, one of the most important features of a good point-and-click adventure are its locations. I want them to take me to a whole new world, immerse myself in them and have a special mood that sticks with me long after I finish the game. So what better game to start off with than the legendary Monkey Island series, with its beautiful locations all over the Caribbean. Today I'm going to rank my top 15 locations from the Monkey Island series. I'm only talking about the 2D games here because, well, I just don't get so connected to the simple 3D graphics from the other parts of the game, but I'm going to include the newest game, Return to Monkey Island, because I think that qualifies and has great locations as well. And when I'm talking about locations here, I don't mean single screens necessarily, so a location can encompass multiple screens. Now, without further ado, let's get this listing started.
Deserve a timeout, young man.
Uh-oh.
The Carnival of the Damned is a really imaginative location. I mean, who doesn't want to spend time in an amusement park, right? Yes, it's a bit of a bummer that the whole amusement park is just one screen and one ride, but at least that one screen is really stuffed full of detail and very pretty to look at. We get 3 characters to talk to, or 4 if you include Murray, and the roller coaster and looming monkey head in the background really sparked my imagination back then. Playing as cute tiny Guybrush then is the cherry on top of playing this childhood fantasy.
Weird. Maybe it's the acoustics of that smelly giant head.
Shut up, kid!
Obviously, you have nothing for us. That should do it.
Who doesn't want to get captured by cannibals? Well, if it's a village as sunny as bright as the Cannibal Village in Monkey Island, and there's a hole in the floor in the hut you are locked in and that you can escape through anytime, then I wouldn't mind. The blue, green and yellow color palette just screams vacation to me. And adding that exotic stone statue head at the front of the hut, you can easily imagine this being a resort instead of a cannibal village. Unfortunately, there's not really much to do in the village. I would have loved to be able to explore it a bit more, but who knows, maybe there will be more sequels in the future and we return to Monkey Island once more. Fat city on Fat Island, population whatever. The seafront of the city just reminds me of family vacations in Torbole in Italy, where we went with our family almost each and every year. I remember people fishing at the piers and looking out on the glistening water of the Garda Lake. Combine that with the beautiful classic architecture of the cute little buildings that line up the street and you feel really welcomed here. And again, that vibrant color palette, man, it's like a fishing lure calling me back to this place.
It says the Marley Foundation Scurvy Treatment and Prevention League, or STAPL, welcomes you to Scurvy Island, 1.5 miles to STAPL headquarters.
Regarding islands from Return to Monkey Island, Scurvy Island is definitely my favorite one. And again, it's just that vacation feeling that gets me every time. Or maybe is it because winter's coming and it's grey and foggy and rainy and miserable here and I just want to leave my house and go on a big vacation on a beach. That would be nice, wouldn't it be? But in this case there's maybe a second reason I like the island so much, because it's where you interact most with Elaine and she's just such a sweetheart in this game. It almost feels like coming home after a big adventure, kick off your shoes, take a deep breath and enjoy the view.
Mutual of Stan.
Welcome back to Mutual of Stan.
Am I weird for saying that this script looks kind of cozy? It's really just this one little screen that's packed full of charm and detail that actually managed to keep a lasting impression on me. I mean, everybody loves Stan, but this time he has really outdone himself with decorating the place. A coffin as a table, a water cooler right next to a skull collection, and he even has one of these plingy ball things that every good office needs. Stan is ready to do good business, and I'm ready to visit him in his crypt anytime. Another spooky location, LeChuck's ghost ship from The Secret of Monkey Island. I really love the creativity about this location. Everything is ghostly, spooky and has this ectoplasm vibe or whatever. But it's not depicted as a horror location, but just, well, more or less an everyday place. And you can really imagine how life on such a ghost ship would play out. Whenever I'm playing the game, I'm really looking forward to getting to this part. It holds some real nostalgia for me. Probably because as a kid I have never seen a ghost ship before, but from that point on I was really fascinated by the whole concept. Also, I think the fact that you're invisible adds to the overall atmosphere because you're doing the stealthy exploration of the ship and get a peek behind the curtain of the whole pirate ghost ship operation. I know, Halloween is over, but how could I resist a spooky cemetery in a Monkey Island game? The eerie atmosphere and the feeling of wanting to be there while simultaneously not wanting to be there is just what I'm looking for in these kind of locations. The state of disarray and neglect contrasting the beauty of the night. It's spooky, but it's not scary. You know that Guybrush Threepwood is no Sir Graham that has to fear death around every corner. And even if you're confronted by the dead, or the undead in this case, they are friendly and helpful.
If I didn't have my flame-resistant apron on, I would have been killed.
Where exactly did you buy that apron wrap?
Stan's previously owned restaurant supply. Why do you ask?
Look, Rap, you're dead.
What?
This is creepy feeling.
So let's do some grave robbery, do some necromancy and enjoy the scenery.
What's that?
Plundering prospects.
You won't need those. I'll find a way for us to get to Monkey Island.
We've just visited LeChuck's ghost ship and now we are on his other ship. This new one is much more grand and intimidating, and you spend a lot more time on it than on the ghost ship. It has this dreadful color scheme which matches very well with the overall zombie aesthetic, but doesn't necessarily make it a place you want to stay all the time. While you were invisible on the ghost ship, this time around you're in disguise, but everybody can see you. The place overall feels a lot more hostile and unwelcoming, leading to a bit of a tense atmosphere while you're sneaking around on board. The other crewmates do know that you're on board, so it's not about hiding, though you should be careful to uphold your disguise and not get caught as Guybrush Threepwood. LeChuck's cabin feels appropriately claustrophobic, contrasting the big size of the evil man himself. Good thing he's not the smartest and doesn't suspect your intrusion until much later.
What's your name, Swabby?
Mike.
Look, I'm just going to call you Swabby. It's not good for the chain of command if we get too friendly.
I will always gladly come back to the swimming James Bond villain lair.
Crew. Now, get back to work before I use your
The legendary Scum Bar. This is where it all started out for Guybrush Threepwood. A place packed full with pirates, scoundrels and rapscallions. But nah, in actuality those are quite nice people you meet there. It's easy to imagine strolling into this pirate bar and having a good time. There's music, booze and laughter, a cozy fire burning in the fireplace and even a little kitchen in the back. And when I was playing the game back then as a kid, I was really impressed by the detailed character portraits that you encounter in this bar. During that time you were normally pretty content if you could even identify a person as such, so having a face to a character really filled the bar with life. And who could forget the cute little dog? Who is a good boy, right? The Scuma is one of the first locations you encounter in The Secret of Monkey Island, and it's one that stays with you.
Yes, fair.
Could you stop laughing like that? It's very unnerving.
The Smuggler's Cave in Curse of Monkey Island is such a nice little hideout. When you sometimes just want to escape the stressful reality, this seems like the perfect place to come. Meeting up with your boys for a game of poker, maybe having a beer or grog or two, and forget about all the worries in the world out there. And even though we are still talking pirates here, this paradoxically felt like a safe space to me all the time. And especially the rough sea and storm that's depicted in the background through the tiny little hole of the cave makes this an extra cozy place in my book. It's small, just a single screen, nothing spectacular, but I think in this case this plays to the location's strength. When you can't find me, I'm at the Smuggler's Cave.
First of all, I'd like to say it's great to be working with such a fine crew. The voyage ahead is not going to be easy.
The way I look at it, we got this great ship. Well, we got a ship. Why don't we kick back, tie a rope to the wheel, and cruise for a while? I could use a little work on my tan.
Come to think of it, I have been a little stressed out lately. I could use a rest.
Then it's decided. We cruise the Caribbean.
You're seeing the pattern here? It's ship number 3. Yeah, I like boats in the ocean, even though I get seasick very quickly and violently. And this time around it's not a pirate ship or a ghost ship, it's a normal ship, and well, in the end I still prefer those, I think, over the first two. The crew really seized the moment here, I'm not even mad. And I would totally understand if Guybrush would ignore The Secret of Monkey Island for a bit and just lay down and enjoy the nice sea breeze. Historically, traveling by ship during those times was a terrifying endeavor, so I'm glad the game did not really stick to the truth here, but instead romanticized the journey a bit. As a kid, I was eager to explore everything this enclosed location had to offer. Searching the lower decks, finding the ingredients for the recipe, and then go to the kitchen and cook it all up. It was just great fun. I was never really in a hurry to find the island and rescue Elaine. Sorry. Ah well, the classic town of Mealy Island. Oh, maybe not so classic, because I've decided to go with Return to Monkey Island here. Yeah, you can stop booing now, I know, but hear me out. In my head, the new Mealy town doesn't replace the old one, but it just adds to it. Where the old town felt a bit more abandoned and lonely, the new one adds a lot of life and detail. It's a natural evolution and still brimming with atmosphere. If you prefer the old art style, there's not much I can argue about that, but I still very much enjoyed the vibrant colors and a tiny bit of spooky atmosphere that the new town of Mealy Island has in store. If you allow the comparison, it's a bit more Tim Burton and a little less classic Disney. It's the one town in Monkey Island that I would want to visit in real life over any other town in the game. A whole town made from shipwrecks. I mean, how cool is that? LeChuck's Revenge was the first Monkey Island game I ever played, and I vividly remember how I entered Woodtick for the first time and was just amazed at the sight. So much so that at that point, when the game opens up and you can visit the other islands, I didn't really want to leave. The location reminded me a lot of the Hook movie with Robin Williams. It's not nearly as lively, but it screams adventure to me. The color palette with the deep blues and oranges is instantly captivating, with the mystery of what might play out behind those illuminated doors. And watching those lazy pirates sleeping next to the laundry made me just want to join them, pursuing a simpler life, though hopefully one without scurvy. Whenever I return to Woodtick, I get these warm fuzzy feelings, and I hope that will never change. You've probably not seen that one coming, but the Good Soup Hotel is the first location that comes to my mind when I think of Curse of Monkey Island. With all the darkness surrounding the hotel and the cemetery nearby, it feels like a safe haven welcoming you for some well-earned rest. Deserted hotels just have this melancholic atmosphere about them. You can very well imagine families with kids running around having fun, but being a thing of the past, something that's lost. And with tiki bars and theme restaurants becoming relics of the past in real life, it's a solemn reminder of the path that everything goes eventually. What I especially like about the location is that later on the volcano erupts and the lava flows through that barbecue area of the hotel, illuminating the whole scene in nice orange colors.
You fool! You've given cheese to a lactose-intolerant volcano god! Run for your lives!
It's almost as if something returns to the hotel, breathing new life into it, not willing to let it go just yet.
I'll just use some of the cheese here.
And my number one location of any Monkey Island game is the Voodoo Swamp Hut from LeChuck's Revenge. This pick probably comes to nobody's surprise as it's pretty iconic and well known amongst Monkey Island fans. This is where it all starts, where the Voodoo Lady sends off Guybrush on a quest to find the Big Whoop. Mangroves and swamps are just very exotic locations to me, we don't have those in Germany. And with all the nooks and crannies and dark hiding spots, your imagination automatically runs wild with what might be hidden around the next corner. Add the gloomy green shine of the foreboding torches and the skull shape of the hut itself, and you get yourself a location that's spooky from the outside but very cozy from the inside. It's that contrast that really brings this place to life. And well, maybe the very animated Voodoo Lady as well.
This ought to be good. 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we assassinate? Lago, yeah.
Hey, that looks just like him. Thanks, Voodoo Lady.
One more thing.
I hope I was able to take you on a strange and wondrous journey through the world of Monkey Island. If you enjoyed the trip, maybe give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more retro gaming goodness. And with that, see ya!